Do you know what? Let's play some football matches. And they've offered me a new contract. Hello then, folks. Welcome back to another episode of Derby County, thriving with them. We then have been offered a new contract. Tae-Young Kim, despite his tycoon ownership, has decided that I am the man for the job. Well, he's right. So we'll start the negotiations. There won't be any negotiations. I'm just going to say this is all fine. Yes, that's fine. They want me to start signing players to sell for a profit. Okay. Done. So there we are then. That's job done. Here for another 3 years. We could have asked for a little bit more money for a little bit more job security, but they're tycoons. They're probably up for 2 to 5 months. Hayden Roberts is done till the winter, it feels like. They're asking me about a new contract. Hayden Roberts, who was one of our defender options. Luckily, we brought in a few more, of course. With Lascelles being here now, it's not so bad. That face is a man that's found out he's just got a hip injury. It's a face of many tales, to be honest, as is the hair. So yeah, he's gone for a little while. It could be 2 to 3 months. It could be 5 months though. That's a long old time, and there's nothing I can do about it. That's due wear and tear. He's 20. Played 9 times, started 7 matches. Wear and tear. Well, obviously not good. We're going to play then Luton today before we also play Stoke City coming up. And of course, we've played some games since we last met. It was almost flawless, although we are out of the League Cup, so not that flawless. You can see there then, since deadline day, we lost to Leeds in the Carabao Cup third round after really good performances against both Blackburn and Wolves. We're now out of it to Premier League leads. Sheffield Wednesday, Brentford, Birmingham, all beaten pretty comprehensively as well before a 4-1 defeat to Norwich. They scored 3 crosses, and then Sargent scored. I don't know, Pookie scored later on, which wasn't a cross. But yeah, annoying to lose in such dramatic fashion. An early penalty as well. I thought we were going to be having a bit of an upset against recently relegated Norwich, but no, alas, that was not to be the case. We've changed something up with the system. Let's take our eyes and point them at the screen. Carl Darlow's still in goal, but Burn and Lukaku have become inverted wing-backs on attack. Now we're trialling things, of course. I know what you're thinking. Aren't they just going to fill these spaces where you've already got loads of players? Yeah, we now have, and this is wonderful, 7 players that run into the penalty area at any given moment. It's exciting. Hopefully you'll see some of that today. It causes mass confusion, which when I'm the manager and with deadline day just gone, that shouldn't be that much of a surprise. Speaking of which, Andy Carroll got injury not long after joining, sprained ankle ligament. So he's been out since we signed him, which obviously is gutting, but should be back soon. So all is not lost. Defensively, we've had an interesting situation really. Lascelles played brilliantly in his first game, wasn't so good in the second. So I'm actually going to drop him out for excellent Marvin, who, and this is going to surprise you viewers, has been excellent. And this has been the team then that in recent times has been doing the business for us. The man I really want to point out, who's been spectacular since he joined, Elias Chair. Really, really good. Expecting big things from him again today. He and Tom Lawrence have been fantastic. Casado or Chukwuemeka, they've both been good on the right-hand side as well. But all in all, we've looked good. Of course, that recent defeat to Norwich isn't great. 5th in the Championship table right now. Norwich have just overtaken us, but only 2 points off the top and 5 points clear of the playoffs right now, or 7th place just outside the playoffs. So it's looking good, right? Nathan Byrne having a fantastic season as well. Let's see then, can the boys get the job done? Firstly, against Luton, who are very much mid-table. For those that caught yesterday's upload, by the way, I uploaded 2 videos at the exact same time, which was foolish. So if you missed my deadline day faffing around, is the only way I'm going to describe it really. Do go and check that out, because it'll give you a rundown of how the squad is now, what the squad is. It was dramatically average from me. And when I say average, I mean regular. People expect that from me now, which is a shame. I didn't want the conclusion to be let's sign Andy Carroll. I really didn't. And by the way, losing out on a right back and then having Nathan Byrne be your best player in the whole squad, that makes me feel a little better about things. Right, let's play Luton then. Let's get stuck into this and hopefully come out on top. Fitness wise, we look pretty good. Again, Hayden Roberts now out, Andy Carroll out as well, and Lee Buchanan, it feels like he's going to be out forever still. Still 5 weeks to 3 months away, so it could be an awful long time. But Lukaku, we talked about it, is doing an okay job so far. An average match rating of 7.11. It's solid. The whole back line have been pretty good, and that includes the Cells as well when he's featured. There's still some question marks over Cardarlo, who either does amazing things or disappoints me massively. That one of the other shining lights, one of the interesting players in the system is Danny Welbeck. Not just because it's Danny Welbeck, but aerially he proves to be a bit more of a threat from a wide position than say Adam Armstrong, who is obviously a lot quicker, a lot faster. But yeah, it seems to be working for us again. He almost acts like a bit of a hold-up player. Both him and Diangana on the other side are playing tucked in a little bit, so it works for us quite well. And still the inside forward, so the inverted wing-back thing, let me be clear, I'm experimenting a little bit. Because we're a side now that are capable of battling at the top end of the field, right? I can obviously see patterns of play that little bit more easily, and it all feels a bit more natural to me. So we're going to try complete wing-back on attack. We're going to try this inverted wing-back system. We've used it for a few games now, beat Birmingham with it really, really comfortably, but lost to Norwich and ended up having to change it, as there was Danny Welbeck trying to be an aerial threat. But forward we come, 3 minutes in, away at Luton referee. We've been getting a lot of penalties recently. That's 3 in 3 games, as we've been felled, and it's going to be Tom Lawrence, I suspect, once again to step up and hopefully give us an early lead. Now, this happened against Norwich, and then we conceded 4. Oh dear, that is not a good penalty kick. It's still 0-0. The goal on technology there, as you can see clearly, viewers, is the ball was floating for a moment. All right, hopefully we're going to be straight back at this again, as there's Elias Chair, as despite his diminutive height, has been very, very dangerous, as there's Diang and lots of players running forward. I'm going to pause it. That's what inverted wing backs do. Lukaku's there, but Burn's in here somewhere. I think that's Burn behind him, as the ball nearly goes into the penalty area and nearly produces something. But there's more players there than there are players available to mark them, and that's what makes it quite exciting, as Diang puts the ball in. There's excellent Marvin. We're trying to aim our crosses into him now from set pieces for obvious reasons. He's a big lad with good heading and jumping ability. Disappointing not to be in a lead right now, of course. We've had that penalty missed, as Caicedo into Welbeck now, who's popping up on the other side as we try and work something. Lots of players in the penalty area. Burn lays it off for Lukaku. The 2 fullbacks intertwined right now, and you can see, if we just zoom out, we're very much a 2 at the back system with our anchor man as sort of the support, Bielik there, or Bielik, I think actually, as I've been told 50,000 times now. It's just sitting in front, and then we've got so many players in the middle. If the cross is good, how are they supposed to mark us all, viewers? As again, working it quite neatly, lay it back, Diang, there's Tom Lawrence. It's a brilliant save from Knight in goal, but you can see so many options. Chaotic scenes in the middle. How do you deal with this? As Tom Lawrence is going to put a cross in, as he now goes short to Chair, who plays it all the way back to Lukaku. What was that? We've got those corners aimed at the near post. I don't know why we're going short with them there. That's weird. That's not what I want them to do at all. Not even close. As for all of the excitement I've had so far in the game, we are still 0-0. Luton so far yet to register a shot on target. We've had a few, a good XG, but again the penalty sort of makes that pointless. As at half time then, it's still 0. The big takeaway is it's still 0-0. You can see how he pushed forward now. These fullbacks really do push on that little bit more. It's dangerous. And there is a world in which, so obviously the one's playing inverted, we could have one play complete and give us a bit more width on one side and then the other. But you can see here Burn, right, playing as the inverted wing back, it doesn't mean he never goes out wide. It's just that he'll station himself a little bit more in field. You can see here he's not looking necessarily for width, but the attacking runs that come, Welbeck trying to play him in, Caicedo's there, so many players in forward areas. It's 1-0. I've taken the fantastic work from Matt Blanco, who's having his 4th shout out in one of my videos, and I'm changing it subtly to try and cause teams that we're playing against an endless amount of problems. Look at this here. If you're this defender, what do? Who do you mark? Welbeck gets inside again because he sat that little bit more narrow. Caicedo running through from midfield, and it's 1-0, and it's wonderful to watch. All right, starting from a deeper area, you can see again, everyone is in position at the start of this, but it's what happens from this moment onwards. And we have to be patient with our attacking play. And now, with more central runners, even now, it really does allow players that bit more space. Chair rushes in on goal and can't quite convert. He did make the keeper sit down though. There's Chair back on it again, plays it in. There's Welbeck at the back post again. And I'd love to have a different kind of threat in offensive areas at times too. But you can see so far, everyone playing pretty well. Everyone having a lovely time. Let's make that even bigger. Why not? All right, we're 20 minutes to go. I guess we probably make a couple of changes. Chukwuemeka, probably the move right now for Chair, I would say. Again, options off the bench, but we don't need to change anything right now. It's all going quite well. So we'll just make the one switch up. Again, we'll see where the game goes from here. We'll just get it a little fresher in midfield as Burn into Diang and then plays a lovely ball to Caicedo. He's in again. Can he finish it? It's a very similar goal to the last one. Wonderful midfield run. And you've got to remember, with someone like him, his finishing is not like the 15s or 16s that you'd want it to be. I think it's like 8 or something. But he still gets in those positions, makes those kind of runs. If you keep a track of him here, where even is he? He's there. That's the man that scores the goal from the throw-in. Suddenly, he's off. He goes. No one picks him up. No one can mark him. The midfield can't hand him off to a centre-back. And it's a lovely controlled finish. And it's 2-0. Right, be honest. You weren't convinced by this when you first saw it, as Luton are about to score. But now you might just be thinking, I haven't got a striker that scores. Could this be the way forward for me? Maybe it could be. As Naismith plays a ball in, headed away. Danny Welbeck's going to have to close this down if he can. As now Bree comes forward, the big cheese, knocks it in. Little bit of time for Luton, but again, defensively solid. Now that there is the only thing that I don't like about this. When we clear the ball, we're very often clearing it to nobody. So defensively, we have to be on it again. We have to remain sharp. As Naismith's ball in, it's dangerous. It's a big header. And that's the only issue, right? And it's kind of the issue that I'm giving up. We've talked about this before tactically on the channel, is that sometimes when you're attacking and you come up with these systems, you have to give something up. That's the thing we give up. In times of panic, in times of moments where we're not in control, a big clearance from a defender, we're always going to give the ball away. Never are we going to be firing it up to somebody because there's not that somebody there. Maybe when we're in winning positions, actually, there's the scope to do it. But again, that occasion wasn't to be. 75 minutes gone here, though. I'm still going to praise them. Like, the performance has been quite good. Again, don't make subs, viewers. That's the moral of this story. We're in complete control. I've made one sub in midfield, and now it's chaos. But if I don't make the substitution, YouTube comments go, you've really got to start making substitutions. Maybe changing the midfield roles at this point actually is part of the solution to all of this. As Welbeck sprints forward, he's got players trying to help him in the middle. Diang's there, the clearance comes in, and this is the problem with so many attacking players. But Lukaku straight on it, on that attacking role. Can he get a ball into the centre? He's tackled, but there's so many players in support, and Lukaku is in a little bit of space for a moment. Welbeck working it out quite neatly. There's Tom Lawrence, might go for goal himself. Lovely patient play. You might argue you need a bit more width, but when Tom Lawrence can do that, forget your width. Work it, find the opening, and go for goal. It's a wonderful, wonderful finish. And as the text commentary has said, surely that's game over now. I think you're like, people will definitely be right here. The problem is the overload of players in this position. How can they really close us down without leaving huge gaps? And actually, that's not what happens this time. But a through ball could have been played. Tom Lawrence has gone for it, and again we lead 3-1. Lovely stuff. All right, a few things I want to do now, just to try and settle this a little bit. I'm going to move my more defensive-minded players. So Casado's going to move back. Lawrence is going to come off as well. And we're just gonna sit them in here. Fly like Max Bird is going to come on, and we're just going to sit. And I'm going to change them to Segundo Volanteos on support roles, but just to try and give us a bit more defensive stability in the forward areas. Again, what you could do here as well is bring Adam Armstrong on, right? Have a pacier option further forwards, maybe put him up front as sort of a lone presser, just to make it uncomfortable for defenses. But a really good performance, and you can see there, can't you, why Nathan Byrne is so loved at this club. An 8.4, and yeah, that was enjoyable. Now, Luton are a team that I'd expect to beat, but the way in which we beat them there is exactly what we're looking for. Could Wayne have done this? Would Wayne have had this up there? Well, I didn't. I got it from a friend. But now I'm adapting it and trying to mould it into something different, something that you don't see very often. And the overload that we can create, we already have it with those 3 central players, right? But having more players in there, more players occupying defensive minds is what we want. Right, next game coming up not too far away, a week's time before we play Stoke City, who currently sit in first place. It's almost like, you know, this is video planning at its best. All right, match day has arrived. We play away then at Stoke City, a team that once upon a time were known for their aggressive football. Now, not known for that quite so much. It's going to be an interesting game against the side that I'm looking through the team there. There's not a huge amount of like star power in that side, I wouldn't say. Excellent, Marvin's not available. Oh, Jamal Lascelles and you come. The team for this one then remains almost the same after that change with Lascelles. Darlow in goal, Byrne, Lukaku, Clark Salter. Bielik will be just in front of them with Chair, Lawrence and Casado. Diangana on one side, Danny Welbeck on the other. Let's get into this. All right, let's tell them. I have faith in you. Go out there and make the difference. All right, then we are in our purple away kit, sponsored by twitch.tv/DoctorBenjy, where I'm live most of the time, some of the time. Whereas Stoke wearing their traditional red and white garms then. Now, interesting this, because when we played Norwich, we had an early lead, but it did fall away from us. And I'm curious to see against top of the league how our system works as, well, that should be a goal. He wasn't even offside. Oh my, come on. But no, really interested to see how the inverted wingbacks do against a side that are potentially a little bit more capable than Luton. So right, they're top of the table right now. Can it work against them? As Brighton now as well, they're winning their game. It's getting tight at the top. There's definitely a race developing here. But being in the playoffs is our goal. And so far in this game, we're having slightly the better of it. I'm just going to encourage these boys to do that little bit extra for me as well as we get towards half time. Quite a dull half so far, but there might be a little bit of moments of excitement. Here they are. Casado in towards Tom Lawrence, booted away quite comfortably. And Stoke, despite playing a striker, have no one there. Lukaku taking his sweet time to get the ball. And finally now, races forward with the ball centrally and tries to take on a man. Forward to Tom Lawrence it goes. Lots of bodies in there. Tom Lawrence, loads of time, loads of space. Oh, off the top of the bar and behind for a goal kick. But even if that was our one moment, it was an enjoyable one at that, as Burn looking to give us another one. Again, central players everywhere. There's something about it I really, really like. You can see Welbeck on that side with Lukaku, the two of them in tandem. Lukaku drops off. Then you've got Welbeck still making that attacking run. Lukaku finds the space out wide into Eli's chair. There's Danny Welbeck. It's so well worked. The movement, by the way, of Welbeck, the off-the-ball ability by him is perfect. It makes everyone else's job that bit easier. The run from Lukaku out wide is really good as well, right? He spots that space. Welbeck almost drags that defender out of place. Then he lays it back. Welbeck just floats into the space as the defender is dragged towards chair. And it's a really nice finish from Danny Welbeck as we lead 1-0. Wayne will be loving that. Wherever he's watching, he'll be loving that. That makes it sound like he's died. He's fine, I think. I hope he is. I was going to say get well soon, Wayne. What am I doing? Wayne Rooney's fine. Written statement. Someone put it out. Stoke 0, Derby 1 then, as at half-time it's been and gone. And if we win this game, looking at that league table, we may well go to the top of the league table. Do we need a striker? Do we heck? As Dan Garner is having not his best performance so far. Adam Armstrong, normally occupied as a left-sided player. I'm going to bring him in on the right. He's very strong. I say very strong. He's decently strong on both sides. Cuts inside from both wings as well, so it makes sense. Knocks balls past the opponent. I feel like it makes sense for us to play him out on that right-hand side, opposed to the left. I don't want to lose that. Again, the aerial threat of Welbeck really is becoming quietly pivotal in this system as Stoke get the control of the game. And this is the only bit of the whole tactic and the formation I'm unaware of really what to do. That's definitely a foul. Of what to do really. Do we start to change those midfield roles? And if we do, what do we change them to? As, how has he missed? He went for a back heel and then cannoned it off the post. 20 minutes to go. Yeah, I'm not sure if we're to do it, right? So if we just encourage these boys, I shouldn't have encouraged it 1-0 up. Stupid boy. What would you change these midfield roles to? Would you simply make like Casado rather than that attacking midfielder, just make him a box-to-box, make him a bit more defensively solid? You could do the same thing with Chair on the other side and keep Tom Lawrence in there. I think that's the way forward. Again, taking the fullbacks or the inverted wing backs, I should say at this point, and making them more defensive could be a solution as well, and not have them be quite so attacking in their movements. I think that's probably the thing to do, actually. It's just to make them both a bit more supportive. We're away from home at Stoke. It seems irresponsible to just go for it constantly at all times. We've got to be a bit smarter about this. Hopefully it doesn't stop us pressing quite so effectively as teams push into our half, but it should be okay. And again, you've still got some really good runners in there as well. Tom Lawrence, not happy with me encouraging the boys. Again, it's the classic thing of Football Manager. If you're 1-0 up or leading at all, encouraging that team is a big no-no, as Campbell's ball in is blocked off brilliantly there. Clark Salter does a really good job, actually. This is a corner now to Stoke. Oh, we're not going to see it. Forget it. It wasn't worthy of a highlight. Stoke yet to register a shot on target. We're still on positive. We're going to go to balanced. And actually, with 5 or so minutes to go, we're just going to waste time. Lower that tempo just a little bit and see if we can waste a bit of time. See if we can see this game out. This would be a huge win. I'm going to praise them for their performance so far, and hopefully they respond a little better than when they're encouraged. Well, whether they did or not, who cares? It's a brilliant 1-0 win. And after the disappointment recently against Norwich, really sad to lose to such a big margin, we bounced back brilliantly. A good win against Luton where we got to showcase what we're all about, really. And then a really grinded out, solid win against Stoke City. And that's what we're looking for if we're going to be successful this season. Oh, Norwich got a couple of late goals, or Josh Sargent with a 62-minute goal to put them back to the top of the table. And that's where our result against them comes into play. Brighton chasing all the time right now, just behind Millwall. Stoke again are there with Middlesbrough and Sheffield Wednesday not that far away, with the likes of Cardiff and Blackburn chasing too. It's going to be a fun season. I got a feeling, folks. I think you're going to enjoy it, and I think I'm going to enjoy it too. And together, that's a recipe for success. Right then, I'll see you tomorrow for a whole lot more of this. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like on it. Make sure you subscribed. Again, welcome to all the new people that are finding this series. To the Derby fans, again, you have my love today. It's, you know, the day after a horrible, or a couple of days after a horrible relegation. But if it makes you feel better, we might be in the Premier League soon. So, admittedly, this isn't quite as real as... I should probably leave it. Take care, everyone. Goodbye. God, shut up sometimes. Shut up.